Good afternoon. I'll start with the injuries. Dennis Gardeck, ankle, and then Olsen Pierre. Right now, those guys are still out, still day to day. With everybody else, it looks like we may have a chance with those guys playing this week against the Bears. Going back, evaluating the film, watching it, I can say a lot of it was self-inflicted. When you look at some of the things that we were doing in all three phases, it was a snowball effect. Defensively, I thought we came out and played well early on. Had a tight half there. The game was close. We did some good things for us trying to stop the run, creating some negative plays on first and second down. Couldn't capitalize off opportunities. Josh Bynes had a PBU. Been great right there for him to, get that interception, change the complexity of the game from a standpoint of momentum. A couple of times we were close to the quarterback, and we got to find a way to be able to get that ball out. From an offensive standpoint, first third down we converted. We continued to move the ball. Couldn't convert the second, third down. From there, it was just, again, one guy each time, whether it was breakdown and protection, from a standpoint of not sustaining our blocks, guys not taking advantage of opportunities for us making plays. And really for the first week, we saw a little bit of inconsistency in our special teams, who's really been a plus for us throughout the year in the first two games, in the first game and all preseason. But we knew this guy was going to be a perimeter guy trying to get out to the edge, and at times we were overthinking that. You see guys trying to get outside, and all of a sudden he split us up the middle. The 13, which they had two returns of 13 yards, I think one for 17, one for 19, and one that really hurt us was right before the half, the 60-yard return, which resulted into points. If we could, sustain that and make the game close coming out from halftime, who knows what could happen. Again, we're going to find a way to continue to, get this thing right. Talking to the coaches this morning from a standpoint of game planning, I want these guys to be able to play fast. We got to scale back, take away a lot of the thinking, and find a way just to get one win. And with that, I'll take your questions.
Coach, the offense crossed the 50-yard line only once, and that was late in the game. They got 6 points in 2 games. Where does the responsibility with that lie, and how do you get something that obvious fixed?
Well, it all lies with me, Bob. And I think, again, from an accountability standpoint, we all got to step up and be accountable. And I think, again, offensive line got to come off the ball. Offensive line got to protect. And when they do, we got to make sure that, we're running good routes, we're creating separation, and the quarterback has to put them on them. So it's not just one thing, it's multiple things. Again, it's breakdowns in different times, different individuals, which we need to make sure that we correct. Again, I think there's a lot of self-inflicted stuff that we're doing.
Scale back, talking about the offensive playbook, and do you need to shrink that a little bit now?
I think the offensive playbook, talking to Mike this morning, talking to the staff, some of the things that we're going to try to do. Again, early on in the season, to me, guys are making mistakes, and this is throughout the league in the history, because either they're overthinking, they're trying to, think too much and not execute. And I want the guys to go out there and play fast. So we're going to scale back, and we're going to make sure we get these guys in the best position to be successful.
Would that mean David Johnson probably gets utilized more?
We talked about that, Bob, and we got to utilize David from a standpoint of get him out of the backfield, put him in a slot, putting him out there trying to create that matchup that we need. I think, David is very effective when he's out in space, so we got to start utilizing him in those particular manners.
Surprised he hasn't been able to generate much with the rare touches he's had.
Well, you look at some of his runs, and a lot of it's just, David himself, just second effort kind of thing. Again, we got to do a better job sustaining blocks, allowing David to get to that second level to where he's so effective, and making the guy miss. So, again, it starts up front with the offensive line, and, again, with us just being a little bit more creative in things that we're doing with him.
What's your confidence level right now in Mike McCoy?
I have total confidence in Mike, total confidence in all the staff and what we're doing. I'm not going to sit here and waver from what I still consider to be a great coaching staff. And you guys heard me say that numerous times. And we have to find a way, we as players and coaches, to go out and execute and do the little things right and find a way to win a football game.
Steve, you said yesterday you're going to evaluate everything, including personnel. Have you had a chance to do that? And if so, do you anticipate any personnel changes this week in terms of the lineups?
You know, watching the film and then talking to the coaches, we're going to look at some different things right now. I'm not going to go into detail of what those are. We'll definitely address them as the week proceeds. But we're going to make sure that, again, we try to put guys in the right position, get guys on the field that needs to be on the field, but most importantly, guys that deserve to be out there.
What do you think of Sam so far?
I think Sam is doing well. Is he inconsistent? Yes. All right. Does he need to be a little bit more accurate? Yes. But that's just not Sam. You know, we need to get a little bit more protection. He needs to have a little bit more time to go through his progression. Again, I don't think it's just one particular unit, offense, defense, or special teams, or one particular guy. So there's plenty of things that we need to improve on across the board.
You know that there'll be this public, let's give Josh a chance thing coming on. What do you think of that idea?
Well, you know what, Bob, if I thought it was just that one position, I would be more than willing to say, you know what, we need to make a change. You know, we need a spark. We need something to happen. But it's not just Sam. You know, there's numerous things, as I just mentioned, that collectively we got to get better, you know, and try to find a way to rectify these problems and, you know, be a little bit more productive on the offensive side of the ball and then still try to get off the field on the defensive side of the ball to give these guys more opportunities. So it's just not that one position.
See from the receivers, because we know that obviously a quarterback can't be successful if some of that miscommunication or they're not running good routes, things like that. What did you see on film?
I thought Christian did a good job. You know, you could see some things out there, the third down conversion, the screenplay. I mean, he had one more guy that he could have made that guy miss. Who knows? We definitely would have had the first down. It probably would have been a big play. He may have scored there, just going back and watching it on film. A couple of times I thought guys were open. Again, you know, Sam got to have patience and confidence in the pocket to be able to step up and make that throw. So I think, again, it's a number of things. But I don't want to put it on the receivers because I thought sometimes they ran effective routes. We just got to have time to be able to get the ball out to them.
How difficult is it as a head coach when things aren't going well, deciding between, okay, stay the course, I know what works, and maybe changes are needed, but maybe those changes send the wrong message to players that there's we're worried.
Yeah, I don't think you have to be worried about the wrong message. I think guys, as I just mentioned to those guys in there, we all need to look in the mirror and check ourselves and figure out what can I do to help this team win games. And I don't think your actual long-term vision change and your expectations, but you have to be able to adapt in this league. So, I mean, we're looking to make changes. We're looking to make this thing better and make it right. So to say that, you know, we're satisfied, I'm satisfied to where we are right now, not scoring a touchdown in 2 games and having lack of production on the offensive side of the ball. No, we got to make some changes. You know, that's not trying to deter from, you know, our vision and philosophy. We got to find ways to get David the ball out in space. We got to find ways to get balls to our best players. We got to be a little bit more creative in the things that we're doing, particularly based off what the defense is giving us. If they're stacking the box right there, we can't run the ball. We got to spread them out a little bit, you know. So we're looking to make some changes in the right way.
Speaking of wide receivers getting separation, how do you manufacture some splash plays in this offense?
Well, I think putting guys in position to be successful, if it means, you know, you see teams do it to us all the time, it's across the league, rub routes, you know, pick routes. You know, if the run game is going, which, you know, the play action over the top, you know, JJ is a vertical threat for us. We got to find ways to get him the ball down the field. So all those things are being talked about, all those things are being evaluated, and all those things are going to be put into motion moving forward.
You guys started Hodges this weekend, and just the thought process between putting him in there and where you see both Reddick and Buchanan in your linebacker.
All those guys are still in the rotation. They're still in the mix. As I mentioned last night, trying to find the right mix of guys who's going to be in there. You know, again, I said it day one, there's no entitlement, regardless of whether you were drafted or what status. You know, we're going to try to put the best guys out there who's going to help us win games. And that goes back to our performance and how we practice, you know, the things that we can go out there and execute from a game plan standpoint. So all those guys are in the mix. All those guys are going to continue to get their reps. And in the end, you know, I'm going to put the guys out there on Sunday who's going to give us a chance to win.
After watching the film, what do you think, Robert?
I thought Robert played a good game up front. You know, again, one time you see him spin out of his gap, and that's where the ball hit. He can't do that, but great job of penetrating. He made some great tackles, you know, tackle for loss. I thought he did some good things. Got to win our one-on-ones versus the pass when he's one-on-one with the guard. I thought Benson Mayoa played well. He did some great things, very physical. Of course, he had a sack. I thought he did a good job getting penetration up front and made some plays on the quarterback. So, again, we had some guys that flashed, but overall as a team, we need more guys to step up.
Chandler yesterday as a pass rusher, with that just going up against a veteran left tackle, or is he struggling?
I would say that a veteran left tackle is pretty good, you know, but Chandler's pretty good in himself. So he's going to have to win his share of those battles as well. He's going to have to do a good job of coming off the ball, trying to utilize his speed, you know, and don't allow that guy to just you know, the pass set on him right here to get him to turn his shoulders a little bit more and then counter with his moves. So, again, a lot of things technique-wise that we got to improve on and get guys going in the right direction.
Does he look as quick and as fast to you as he did a year ago, Chandler?
I think so, you know. Is he inconsistent at times? Yes, he'll tell you that.
When you talk about evaluating players and maybe making some of those changes, do you have a cutoff point in the week where you want to let guys know, but you also don't want to switch too quickly?
I think it's always a fluent thing that's going on. Guys will end up knowing by the end of the week because we rotate so much in practice. I think the dialogue takes place today. You know, we talk to the guys, say, hey, this is what we're thinking. This is what we're going to do. And you know, guys appreciate that because they understand the tone going into practice. You know, it's about competing, and guys that perform well, the guys that's going to start. So there's clarity there. And we let guys know early enough, and then at the end of the week we confirm it, yes.
You mentioned Sam needs a little bit more patience in the pocket. Is he getting rid of the ball way too quick?
I don't want to say he's getting rid of the ball too quick because sometimes it predicates him getting the ball out quick, you know. But there's times right now that if we allow the receiver to continue with his route, things are coming open, you know, a couple of times down the field. And, you know, I don't know whether he's feeling the pressure in the pocket. Regardless, right here, we got to do a better job of stepping up and being firm. And, of course, as I mentioned earlier, we got to do a better job protecting them.
If you want more of that, is it hard to change a mentality where it seems like most of the offseason has been more the quicker hits, but if you want more deeper shots, is it hard to change that?
No, not so much. I think it's more of a game plan kind of deal because every offense, I'm sure, has different schemes to where, you know, you're trying to get the ball out quick based off what the defense is giving you. You know, and then there's times right there we want to try to push the ball down the field. So I don't think we've been one-sided in what we were trying to do from a scheme standpoint. It's all based off of the game plan.
What's the problem with getting David in space?
Say that again.
What's the problem with getting David in space beyond blocking the short run?
I don't think it's a problem. I think it's just something that we got to go ahead and execute and do.
You saw Gurley do what he does. He didn't get a lot of yards, but so effective in the goal line area inside the 20. You had that same player. Are you disappointed that he's not showing his Gurley side, as it were?
I'm disappointed as a whole that we're not productive on the offensive side of the ball. So it's not just one thing. Again, David is that guy. We have to use David in that manner. And those are things that, again, that we addressed this morning and moving forward. That's something we got to accomplish.
You split David out. Do you like the idea of having Chase on the field with him too? Do you like what Chase has brought?
There's a lot of things that we can do, and I'm not going to sit here and indulge any kind of game plan moving forward. But you know, all those things are good.
I know part of pulling Larry yesterday was just not risking anything, but do you expect he'll be limited going into this week?
Larry, we all know, you guys have been around here for a while, know it's going to be tough to keep Larry off the field. I got to help Larry help himself, and that's what I did yesterday. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that he is ready to go on Sunday with the treatment and the amount of reps that he gets in practice.
Thank you very much.
Was David okay?